excretion. Excretion is one of the 7 life processes. It is the removal of toxic materials and substances in excess of what is required by our bodies. Some of the toxic materials are nitrogenous waste such as ammonia, urea, and uric acid, carbon dioxide, drugs and their byproducts. Some of the excess substances are excess salts and minerals and excess water. So, why there is a need for excretion? Let's take some of the products of cellular metabolism. One is carbon dioxide. It is produced by cellular respiration and its elimination is important, or else it will mix with tissue fluids and blood plasma to make carbonic acid, giving rise to an acidic environment inside the cell. And in this acidic environment, many cellular activities might slow down because working of many enzymes is affected by lower pH in the cells. Therefore, the cells need to get rid of the carbon dioxide. Next is nitrogenous wastes. During protein metabolism, some excess amino acids are produced. Excess amino acids are converted to nitrogenous wastes such as ammonia, uric acid, and urea. If these waste products accumulate, they can become toxic and disrupt cellular functions. For example, accumulation of uric acid leads to a condition called gout. So these also need to be converted to less toxic substances and removed from the body. Next is minerals and salts. Our bodies rely on a delicate balance of electrolytes and minerals for various functions like nerve impulse transmission, muscle contraction, and fluid balance. Excretion helps regulate these levels and prevent imbalances that can lead to health problems. Next are drugs and toxins. The kidneys can help eliminate certain drugs and their byproducts from the body along with certain toxins. Next is water. Water is crucial for many bodily functions. Excretion plays a key role in regulating water balance by eliminating excess water while conserving what is needed for hydration. Though water is lost through sweat and defecation also, but majority of it is lost as urine. Our body needs a proper balance of salts and water for proper functioning. Osmoregulation is a process of maintaining this balance of water and electrolytes in the body fluids. Kidneys play a crucial role in osmoregulation. The volume and concentration of urine produced is affected by our water intake, the temperature, and our physical activities. If we keep ourselves well hydrated, then under normal temperatures and when the person is not engaged in physical activities, then the volume of less concentrated urine increases. But in hot temperatures, or if the person is engaged in physical activities and drinking less water, then there is less volume of urine and the urine will be more concentrated. The 3 main excretory organs are lungs, liver, and kidneys. The 2 kidneys are reddish-brown bean-like structures attached to the back of the abdominal cavity. The renal artery branches off from the aorta and brings in impure blood to the kidneys for filtration. Impure blood means the blood that is carrying waste materials such as extra salts, chemicals, and some nitrogenous wastes. The renal vein takes filtered blood away from the kidneys to the vena cava. Water carrying salts and other substances in excess trickles down the tubes called ureters. Ureters run from each kidney to the urinary bladder in the lower abdomen. Urine gets stored in the bladder until the bladder is full. Urethra is the tube through which urine passes out of the body. Opening of the urethra is controlled by sphincter muscles. Let's look at the structure of a kidney. Each kidney has an outer area called cortex and an inner part called medulla. A renal artery brings in the blood with impurities such as urea, salts, and other toxic materials for filtration to the kidneys. Renal vein carries filtered blood that is clear from all the toxic materials. So, what is inside the kidneys that acts as a sieve to filter and clean the blood from the toxic and unwanted materials? Inside each kidney, there are microscopic structures called nephrons. Each nephron has a sieve-like structure in it. There are approximately 4 million nephrons in each kidney, and they are surrounded by a network of blood capillaries for an efficient filtration of the blood. While filtered blood is carried back through the capillaries, salts and other soluble wastes are washed out into the pelvis part of the kidney with excess water. That water trickles down the ureters and then thrown out of the body. A nephron is the functional unit of a kidney. Each nephron includes a filter called the glomerulus and a long tubule called renal tubule. Glomerulus is a bunch of thin-walled capillaries that act as filter. Glomerulus is surrounded by a double-walled pouch-like structure known as renal capsule or Bowman's capsule, named after the surgeon who first identified it. The blood carrying the waste products enters the glomerulus through renal artery, and the thin-walled capillaries of glomerulus filter the blood. The filtrate contains water, salts, certain unwanted substances, urea and glucose. This process by which the fluid is filtered out of the blood is called ultrafiltration. This filtrate then moves along the tubule, and out of all the substances that are filtered out, some substances and water are reabsorbed in the tubular part of the nephron, and glucose is one such substance which is reabsorbed in this part of the tubule. The process of absorbing back the substances needed by the body is called selective reabsorption. During this journey of the waste materials and water, the blood is purified, and this blood, which is clean from the impurities and toxic materials, travels to the renal vein. And water with waste materials enter the pelvis region of the kidneys and later ureters and finally as urine out of the body. Let's talk about a dialysis machine. In case of a kidney disease, the patient can survive with only one kidney. But if both the kidneys fail, the patient's blood composition has to be regulated by a dialysis machine. 2 needles are inserted into the patient's bloodstream to create an access point for blood withdrawal and return. The blood pump draws blood from the patient's body. The withdrawn blood flows through the tiny hollow fibers inside the dialyzer. These fibers act as a semi-permeable membrane that allows waste products, excess fluids, and some electrolytes to pass from the blood into the dialysate solution due to the difference in concentration gradient. However, blood cells and proteins that are too large to pass through the membrane, they remain within the bloodstream. The dialysate solution continuously circulates on the other side of the dialyzer fibers, carrying away the filtered waste products. The filtered blood, now free of excess waste and fluids, exits the dialyzer and is returned to the patient's bloodstream through the other access point. Lungs are another excretory organs. The main waste product the lungs eliminate is carbon dioxide, though some amount of water vapors are also given out in expired air. Carbon dioxide gas is a byproduct of cellular respiration. By removing carbon dioxide, the lungs help regulate blood pH because a buildup of CO2 can make the blood more acidic. A lower pH of blood can disrupt various bodily functions and slow down the energy production process. Liver. Liver is the largest gland in our body. It's a multifunctional organ and excretion is one of its key roles. Some of the waste products handled by liver are bilirubin. This is a yellowish bile pigment produced by the breakdown of hemoglobin in worn-out red blood cells. The liver captures bilirubin and makes it more water soluble and then secretes it into bile. The pigment undergoes changes in the intestine and is largely responsible for the brown color of the feces. Then comes excess hormones and medications. The liver can break down or modify certain hormones and medications, rendering them less potent or preparing them for excretion through the kidneys. Ammonia. A toxic byproduct of protein metabolism, ammonia is converted by the liver into the less harmful urea. Urea is then transported to the kidneys for excretion in urine. The removal of nitrogen-containing part of the amino acids to form urea is called deamination. Skin. Our skin is not considered as a primary excretory organ, but contributes to removing salts, especially sodium, potassium and chlorides, some urea and water in sweat. Now it's your time. Check your progress by answering some questions. The answers are given at the end of the video.